Your child may do everything right and still reach 40 before buying their first home. In 2025, the typical first-time home buyer in America was 40 years old. 40. That means the starter home is now arriving around the age when people expected to feel settled, not still be fighting the housing market and suspicious knee pain. Housing is only one part of it. In early 2026, the New York Fed reported that 10.3% of student loan debt was at least 90 days overdue, meaning many graduates were already struggling before they could build wealth. Low-wage workers also saw real wages slip in 2025, which is a polite way of saying prices rose faster than paychecks. That is the retirement problem hiding in plain sight. More years renting, more years paying off school, more years catching up, and fewer years letting money grow. Retirement gets delayed one expensive decade at a time, and most people utterly notice once the decade is already gone. So this video is really about 5 pressures your child is growing into: a moving financial target, a first wealth-building decade that may get eaten, debt arriving before assets, lifestyle creep before real income, and the quiet belief a child forms about what money is actually for. That last one matters most, but it only makes sense once we look at the world they are actually inheriting. Let's start with the first pressure point. The starting line has moved. Many parents were raised on a simple promise: work, study, save a bit, buy a home, retire with dignity. That promise still exists. It just got slower, pricier, and much less forgiving. Your child may do everything right and still face rent that eats half a paycheck, degrees that come with debt, entry-level jobs that demand experience, and retirement systems that ask individuals to carry more of the weight themselves. That means just work hard is too thin by itself. A kid can work hard and still start 10 years late. 10 years late buying a home. 10 years late investing seriously. 10 years late building the kind of boring, invisible cushion that lets retirement feel possible instead of theoretical. Hard work matters, so do timing, debt, and knowing when a purchase is just a small monthly payment. Wearing a friendly little hat, they will inherit the economy either way. The second pressure is whether they face it early or look away until the bills are already shouting. The first wealth-building decade may get eaten. No 10-year-old is lying awake worried about contribution limits. But the habits that decide whether someone starts at 22 or 32 begin long before the first retirement account. It begins when a child learns whether money should be spent immediately or directed deliberately. It begins when waiting feels like punishment or planning. It begins when they see whether adults treat future needs as real or only whatever is screaming the loudest today. This is where poorer retirement often begins. Years of pushing the future behind rent, debt, upgrades, emergencies, and tiny purchases that somehow gather into a lifestyle. Here is the brutal part. Someone who invests $200 a month from 22 can retire with more than someone who starts at 32 and invests twice as much. That 10-year delay can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. The point is that confidence has a deadline. If a child grows into an adult who avoids money because it feels confusing, shameful, or stressful, they may lose the most powerful decade they have. Not from lack of income, from lack of nerve. That lost decade gets even harder when the third pressure shows up. Debt now arrives before assets. Many young adults begin adult life owing before owning. Student loans, phone financing, car payments, buy now pay later purchases, subscriptions, tiny monthly charges that seem harmless alone, but together teach a person to live one step behind their income. That matters because debt changes the order of adulthood. Instead of earning, saving, then buying, the pattern becomes getting now and paying later. The future paycheck is already spoken for before it arrives. Digital money makes this easier because the pain has been softened. There used to be a small ceremony around spending. Cash left your hand. A wallet felt lighter. Even a child could feel the trade-off. Now money moves like magic. Tap, click, confirm, gone. Food arrives from a phone. Game coins appear after a password. Subscriptions renew without anyone moving from the couch. Some of them renew so quietly, they deserve their own witness protection program. Convenient for adults. A strange classroom for children. If money has no weight, no delay, and no visible ending, debt can start to feel normal before a child even understands what debt is. The fourth pressure is more personal. Lifestyle creep starts before real income. I knew a kid growing up. Let's call him Marcus. Marcus had good, hard-working parents. They were not flashy, but whenever he wanted something badly enough, the house eventually found a way to buy it. Good grades? Bought. Long car ride, and everyone needed peace? Bought. Rough week? Bought. None of it looked reckless. To them, it seemed loving, practical, sometimes necessary. Any parent who has survived a tired child in a store knows the strange financial power of a small person holding a toy, like it is a legal document. But Marcus learned something without anyone saying it out loud. Discomfort should be resolved by spending. Now he is in his 30s. He makes decent money. He is not failing. He is just always slightly behind. His subscriptions have formed a small government. He buys things when he is stressed. He has a retirement account he opened because someone told him to, and he has not checked it in over a year. That is the scary version of retiring poorer. Not a dramatic collapse, just a decent income that keeps leaking before it can become ownership, savings, or freedom later. And that is how lifestyle creep starts. Before the real salary, before the apartment, before the car payment that already feels normal, because payments have always felt normal. A child learns what level of comfort feels normal, what level of delay feels unbearable, and how quickly wanting should become having. This is why allowance, chores, birthday money, and small purchases matter. The money is small. The choice is the lesson. Let them save for something. Let them regret a small purchase. Let them feel the annoyance of waiting when the stakes are a toy, not a lease agreement. A $12 mistake at 8 is much cheaper than a $12,000 mistake at 28. Then comes the fifth pressure, the one underneath all the others. Kids decide what money means before they know what money is. This is the one most families miss. Children not only learn what money does, but what it says about them. In some homes, money says, "We are safe." In some homes, it says, "We are always one bill from disaster." In some homes, it says, "You are loved when I buy things for you." In some homes, it says, "People like us cannot get ahead." Those beliefs become adult behavior. A child who sees money as danger may avoid looking at it. One who sees it as proof of love may spend to keep people close. One who sees wealth as for other people may step back from opportunities before they feel real. This is why the language around money matters. We can't afford that may be true, but used too often, it can make money sound like a locked door. We are choosing to spend on other things right now teaches priority. We do not have the money for that today, but we can plan for it teaches agency. You can have anything if you work hard enough. Sounds hopeful, but it can set a child up to blame themselves when the system gets rough. A sturdier message is calmer. Money responds to choices, time, skills, luck, systems, and habits. You cannot control all of those. You can learn how to move inside them. Your child is entering an economy where mistakes cost more, waiting matters more, and nobody is coming to hand them a simple retirement path. That is why the ordinary money moments matter. The card tap, the subscription, the birthday gift, the sentence said in the grocery aisle, the silence after a bill arrives. Those moments do not look like retirement lessons, but they may become the reason a future adult starts early, avoids living permanently one payment behind, or spends 20 years trying to catch up. Years from now, your child may stand in their own kitchen, holding a bill, a receipt, or a phone with a cart full of things they almost bought. And maybe what stops them will not be a finance class, a spreadsheet, or one perfect lecture they half listened to at 13. Maybe it will be the old feeling that wanting something did not mean buying it, and the future was something people talked about before it became an emergency. And maybe that is how retirement changes, not at 65. Much earlier, in a kitchen, in a store, in one ordinary moment that did not look important at the time. If this made you look at one ordinary money moment differently, subscribe to Raised to Spend. We're looking at how kids learn money long before they earn it, and why those lessons may shape the future they can afford.